Welcome to another episode of the Muffed Sports Show. I'm your host, Hayden Haynes, and joining me this week is Seth Killen and Braxton McKinney. Welcome, brothers.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Glad to have you, Brax. Glad to see you're in good spirits. I know you were a little hostile in the group chat earlier in the day and in the week about your Auburn Tigers. You got some stuff to get off your chest, so that's why you're with us today, and hopefully you're with us the rest of the season because we need your key insight information on this college football world. So welcome, and we thank you, Cody. Hopefully will join in the middle of this episode. Don't really know where that guy's at right now. He's just being a little menace that he is. But today we are going to dive into college football week 4 preview. We got about 3 games we're going to dive into, maybe some honorable mentions like we did last week, and then we're going to talk about 3 NFL games at the end. We're going to run down what the spread is, what the totals are, what we think, where we're kind of leaning, and just our general thoughts on how the season's going so far. And it's really early, so maybe we talk about, the Heisman hopefuls and stuff like that too, just if we have time. So that's pretty much the gist of what you're going to get for the rest of the season. Bunch of previews, bunch of picks, and then as we get closer to the middle part of the season, we'll give our like maybe early or midway, Heisman picks, playoff picks, conference champs, all that kind of stuff. But just for now, it's still early in the year, so we're just going to stick to preview. So, anyways. Big slate of games again. Last week was awesome. It was great. We had the overtime Texas, or not, I'm sorry, not Texas, Tennessee, Georgia game. Absolutely huge victory for Georgia and the Bulldogs in overtime. Prayers up to that Tennessee kicker. It looked like he was seeing aliens when he went out to go kick
Mm-mm.
that fourth quarter potential game winning kick. And then what else we have? Nighttime game. Almost, I guess it was a walk off kind of with Texas A&M at Notre Dame. That was an absolute banger. Poor Tyler Buckner with the botch snap for Notre Dame kind of seals that. And A&M was just on fire on offense. They were down early with that punt block, but they wound up coming back. And then in the middle of all that was Florida LSU. Florida, DJ Lagway threw 5 picks. Horrible game and start for the year for Florida. And then I guess other than that, I mean, we had the Georgia Tech crazy walk off where they had to do the fire drill, run all the kicking unit
That
on
was
the
wild.
field, hit that 55 yarder.
Yeah, I do
We
remember
we
that.
uh we talked about that game being,
We did.
an absolute crazy game, but I don't think we expected that kind of finish. So to say all that, absolute banger week 3. Hopefully we get that again week 4. Starting off the day, we do have the Big 12 Big Noon kickoff. That is going to be Texas Tech, number 17, on the road versus number 16, Utah. Utah is a 3.5 point favorite at home. The total is going to be 57.5. For Utah, they have Kyle Whittingham, one of the best coaches in that conference, if not the whole country. Also, they got their quarterback and OC from New Mexico. That's going to be Devin Dampier, and really just a lot of continuity with that offense. And we know what they bring to the table with defense every year. Texas Tech, they do have a big, explosive offense. So far, they put up ridiculous numbers, averaging over 40 points a game. Their quarterback, Baron Morton's looking like a dog. Both quarterbacks looking like elite quarterbacks this season. And overall, nobody's really been tested. So this will be the first test for each team. Utah played, I think, UCLA, Oregon State, and Texas Tech played last week. Both UCLA and Oregon State are not very good. So absolute must-win game for both these teams as far as winning that conference. I would say. I mean, it's early in the year. You never know what can happen, but this is a big game for playoff implications as well. So, a couple things, and I'll give it to Braxton here since he's our
Here, since you're
guest.
our guest.
And just wanted to say, first of all, I mentioned the explosive quarterbacks. All right, Brax. So we got first. Let's go to Texas Tech with Baron Morton. He and that offense, like I mentioned, is one of the best, if not the best in the Big 12 with all that NIL money they spent. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, defensively, they haven't been tested, like I said. They do have a lot of elite NFL prospects because of all the NIL money that they did spend in the offseason. Does this scare you, though, going on the road to a hostile environment? Granted, it's only 50 something thousand in Utah. Does this make you feel a certain type of way since it is their first real test on the road this season?
I don't know necessarily. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Leo. You can join in on this take here.
Oh shit. Yeah.
You're good. You're good, brother. Come on. Leo's a part of the
So,
pod too, man.
yeah, but I honestly believe that I would be scared. I mean, 50,000 people in a it depends. I honestly don't know what Utah Stadium is shaped like, but if it's small enough to fit the audience and they can make it loud, then it doesn't matter how big the stadium is, you know?
Yeah.
So I believe
I think
that
they do get hostile, but it's an early kickoff, right? So you don't know if does that help Texas Tech since it's not a night game? I mean, it could be one of
well,
those situations.
yeah, I mean, it could be a game where the home field advantage maybe isn't as effective as it would be if it was at the 6:30 kickoff time, or
Right.
later on that side of the country. But honestly, I believe that Texas Tech is going to go there. They're going to be a little bit more physical. Their offense is going to be a little bit more explosive. And I think they're just going to be a little bit more fast than Utah. And I don't think it's going to be a big win. I don't think they're going to win by a lot. But honestly, I'm just doing this based off the talent. I think Texas Tech is a little bit more talented than Utah. And I'm doing it based off the skill position. And they kind of got depth in the trenches.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Utah obviously didn't have a great year last year. They're looking better so far to start the season. Like I mentioned, Devin Dampier's playing really well. He's got a high completion percentage, 73%, no turnovers through his first three games, making really good decisions to start the year. Strong rushing attack too. I mean, he's leading, I believe, the team in rushing, which I don't know if that's a great stat to, have your quarterback leading your team in rushing, but it shows that he has that dual threat ability. Maybe that's something that comes in hand against a very talented Texas Tech team. And over 200 rushing yards in his three games, 311 yards total last week versus Wyoming. I do think this is a big, big game for him just because he hasn't played the level of competition that Texas Tech has. Wyoming, UCLA, those teams, that's not going to cut it. The defense has been solid for Utah. They're among the nation's leaders in fewest points allowed, an 8.3 per game. And I think I misspoke earlier. I was saying 40 points is what the offense is average, more than 40 points. But for Texas Tech, they're crushing that. It's 58, around 58 points per game. And that's highest in the FBS with 600 total offensive yards, 600 plus total offensive yards so far. But like we mentioned, they haven't played hardly anybody. But
Yeah, I
still
mean,
really go ahead.
I'm looking at who they
Um,
played so far. Arkansas Pine Bluff,
right.
Kent State, Oregon State.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They haven't been tested at all. They haven't been tested based on this talent of that roster. We really
Yeah.
don't know what that's about. They've had three tune-up games in a row. They're solely based number 17 in the country because of the talent they have on that roster. And I think they've been getting ready for this. I mean, they haven't gone on the road yet at all, like you mentioned. So this is going to definitely rattle them a little bit.
Right.
But considering a lot of these players are transfers, they're used to playing in different environments. They don't have like a true freshman team, or
Yeah.
they don't have a guys that are inexperienced. A lot of their team is guys that have done this before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Both
I
teams, though,
think,
have pretty much played nobodies. I will say UCLA
yeah,
and Wyoming are better competition, I think, than what
I
Texas Tech
believe
has
so.
played because Oregon State is absolutely terrible. Kent State, like you said, UAP beat us start the year. That's nothing. So this is like really going to be interesting for both sides. I mean, what do you think, though? Does this quarterback for Texas Tech, Baron Morton, who threw 464, does he have enough juice to keep this? A high scoring game like everybody thinks it's going to be, or do you think he stumbles and it's not as high scoring? Because I think the over or the total is like 50, what was it 57 and a half in this? Do you think that goes over?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Because
I
this is the
personally do
Big
too.
12, it's kind of a historically known shootout school or shootout conference. There's a lot of air raid offenses, including both these teams. So I don't think anything's really going to change. So I
Yeah.
think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I mean, I think they have a solid defense, but I think there's going to be a lot of scoring.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm also on that side as well. I think the over does hit. I do think though, my official prediction, and Seth, you can give yours after this as well. I'm gonna go Utah 34-31. I do think the legs of Devin Dampier will ultimately be the difference, and I think Utah is gonna have enough defense to create a turnover to, have one or two stops. Not like it's gonna be a lot of defense, but they do at home have that edge. And so in my mind, both quarterbacks are gonna go crazy, probably like around 300 yards a pop. But Devin Dampier's legs is ultimately the edge that gets them over. And I feel like it could be a game-winning field goal situation. Ultimately, I'm thinking it's a classic. I think this is going to be prime Big 12 shootout. Early in the day, but like that's such an early kickoff in Utah, man. Isn't that like 2 hours even from East? It's like 2 hours early from East Coast, 1 hour from where you guys are. So it technically is like a 10
It's like
o'clock
a
kickoff.
9 a.m.
Nine, yeah.
Well, because like the game started at 11 a.m.
Right,
in this on the Central Standard Time.
right.
So you got to
It's a
go
mer it's a
past Mount.
morning kickoff basically for Utah.
Is it
This is
are
Mountain
they
Time,
in
right?
Mountain Time? So they're only 1 hour
They're
back.
one they're one from Central, so this should be a 10
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 10 a.m.
That's still
I thought they
early
were
as hell though.
Pacific.
I
That
mean,
is
you
early.
wake up,
Yeah.
you're playing football. So it's kind of like when you're a little kid, I'm not gonna lie. Which that might be good for Utah just to like help the defense, early in that game because the offenses might be a little sleepy, but I still think it goes over and it's a
I mean,
shootout. So
like you mentioned, I think that helps Texas Tech though. I honestly didn't know it was that early in the day.
with the
I
crowd
think that
noise,
helps Texas Tech.
can't
What's up?
pregame that much. Like you can't pregame that much if you're
People
Utah,
ain't gonna be
right?
that lit.
Nobody gonna be that
Yeah,
lit. You
I
gotta
mean
wake
the
up at
Nobody.
crowd's not
6
going to be
a.m.
that excited. It's going to be
Bunch of
Walking in
really
with a
mimosas.
light
coffee.
outside. They're not going to be able to have a light effect for
Yeah.
real. Like it's just going to feel a little bit more
Weird.
neutral with all the sunlight, in my opinion.
No, I
I
agree.
mean, home field advantages can be had during day games, but they're a lot more effective if it were like an evening game in the summer setting or already down.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
agree with
agree.
that.
I
So with it
Seth,
agree.
being fresh in the morning and the crowd's not going to be as hammered as they normally would be.
it's very true. I mean, they have no time to pregame unless you're up at 7 o'clock doing some Four Loco shotguns.
Ooh.
But Seth, do you have any other, point to add
I
before
mean,
you give your prediction?
I've been pretty high on Texas Tech this whole year already, I'd say.
Yeah,
So
Cody
I think
Cody
I'm gonna
picked
keep the ball
them.
rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep the ball rolling there, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be a good 35-32,
ooh,
Texas Tech.
okay. So you're
On a
going three
last second
points.
field goal.
I got you. Opposite of me, but
Yeah.
still same kind of game.
Same kind of deal.
Yeah.
I've given props to both schools and both
Oh
teams.
yeah.
I think that at the end of the day, I like Texas Tech though. On the
I
road
Yeah.
at Utah.
Is
I
that just
think
because it's the early kickoff or is it the talent or
the
both?
talent plus the
Yeah.
early kickoff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the early kickoff definitely helps for sure. And I mean, they've got pretty stacked defense.
They do.
Yeah.
They really
But
do. I
don't talk
mean,
about a defense.
Hmm.
man,
We'll get there, man.
we're about to talk about y'all's defense. Don't worry. So, anyway, score prediction, Braxton, on that. You said Texas Tech wins. What was the score? You got the over.
Over that 57 and a half.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 38-28,
Okay.
Texas Tech.
Okay. All right. So let's go right into
Um,
the SEC. What you got something to say, Seth?
um, Cody says Cody says he's trying to join,
Okay.
and he's clicking join and nothing's happening.
But he has the invite, right?
Yeah, he has the invite and he's hitting join, but it just doesn't work.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's hope Cody figures that out. But in the meantime, we're gonna keep it going. Obviously, this is gonna be a lot of you, Brax, to kind of give your insight and your takes that you were talking about in the group chat today. But we're gonna go right into the SEC game of the week. We just did Big 12, but now we got number 22 Auburn versus number 11 Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a 6.5 point favorite on or at home, and that's going to be a 3:30 kickoff Eastern, 2:30 Central. Another big game, but it's not a night game. Kind of wish that was, but for Auburn, that might be an advantage. We'll talk about that a little bit. A couple things before Braxton gets into the Auburn aspect of this. I guess I'll start with Oklahoma then. We know John Mateer is a Heisman contender. He's played very good. Mason was on the podcast before the season saying that he thought Mateer could win the Heisman, and he had Oklahoma pretty high on his SEC rankings. I felt like he had them around like a 9-3 or something like that. But they're looking like a team that has the capability to make a push to the playoff and also in the SEC championship just because it is so wide open right now. But Auburn is making that case as well, just because of the wins that they've had. The Baylor win on the road was big. Braxton will talk about that, and then Oklahoma's had the Michigan win at home. Both games were on prime time, big night games, big wins, double-digit wins for both teams. Mateer dual threat quarterback. We know what he can do with his arm, but on the ground, he's been very effective against Michigan at 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. They have the same thing with like other, quarterbacks and OCs that we've seen, where you transfer a quarterback in like Mateer or Devin Dampier, and you bring their offensive coordinator from their previous school to that new school. So that helps bring that same philosophy, same scheme and all that to the new team that they're on. So the receiving corps, offensive line have also improved for Oklahoma. A little banged up with that center going out, as Braxton mentioned that today. I'm sure you'll touch on that as well. And then one last thing, the defensive improvements, they've also, been led by Brent Venables for the last few years, who's been defensive minded since his days at Clemson, and they've gotten. I think they've gotten a lot out of the defense early in this year. They really don't give up a lot. Michigan couldn't do a lot through the air. It took them a minute to get the ball going on the ground too in that game. So they've looked very good to start the year. It's going to be interesting to see what they do against Auburn, what they're going to try to take away. I would assume it would be the run game pretty early. But Braxton, what does Auburn need to do in this game to get this road victory? Big road victory, big SEC game for Auburn to start the year.
All Auburn needs to do to win this game is execute. Execute, execute, execute. You need to trust Hugh's plan. Hugh Freeze is an offensive guru just as much as Brent Venables is a defensive guru. I say you go with the process, trust the process, perform your job at the highest level possible. And this is what I expect Hugh's play style to be. I expect us to test the run, see what kind of formations they get us into, maybe try to set something up using the run. But I do expect this game to be kind of pass heavy. I expect Eric Singleton Jr., Cam Coleman, Horatio Fields, Malcolm Simmons, Harry Thompson. I expect those guys to really have all of more than one catch. And I'm really forecasting about 3 touchdowns through the air.
So
I think
basically, they're going to have to do a little bit,
they're going to
something
have to do
different.
something they haven't done this season, which is
Right.
pass the ball. Because I think that even though Oklahoma does have some injuries on the defensive line, they have some suspensions for the first half of the game due to illegal play by dirty players. Due to that
Yeah.
fact,
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that Auburn is going to be able to exploit those weaknesses in some plays. They're going to try to overcorrect, and then we're going to call other plays that are going to exploit where they try to overcorrect the weakness on the line and maybe use the run in that way. But I also expect they're going to box that run pretty well. So I think we're going to rely on the pass a little bit more. I know Oklahoma is a true freshman at cornerback. He's pretty good from what I hear. I hear he's aggressive. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Hey, you got some
I trust
challenges
our
this week.
guys.
I mean, I believe in Auburn and their weapons. I just want to see it, be used, which maybe that's, the thing. They haven't been using it for this reason. They want to kind of surprise Oklahoma. And I think that can happen. I really do see a way where they use their weapons like Singleton and Coleman and Perry and all these guys and honestly just the leg still with Jackson Arnold, which we know the storyline of this game is Jackson Arnold transferred from Oklahoma, so clearly this is his revenge game, right? We know that it's a battle of, Auburn wanting to establish the run early, but at the same time, Oklahoma trying to take that away to make Jackson pass to see because they know their coaching staff knows what he struggled with last year, just to be honest. And he's gotten better. I think he's shown the ability to protect the ball. Obviously, 0 turnovers. Hasn't thrown it a ton. They haven't needed to. That's a good thing. And then that defense of Auburn, their D line is pretty stout. And I think making Mateer, one dimensional, just throwing might be the way to kind of stay in the game, and then having Jackson Arnold hit a few deep shots early in the game to help his confidence. I think could be a way that Auburn wins the game, but I think that it's going to be tough, obviously, just because it's on the road, and I do think Oklahoma is a solid defense, not one of the best defenses in the country, but really really solid. I like what I've seen out of their D line and their front seven overall, but like you said, the suspension, the little bit of injuries here and there, I feel like it will give Auburn some chances early in that game to establish what they want to do. But if they can't run the ball, I mean, they're going to have to air it out, which we'll see what happens. But I do believe that this could get either it's going to be a 27-20 something game, or it's going to be like straight up both quarterbacks are just on one, and we're seeing like a great Jackson Arnold game, like revenge game that we have dreamed of, and it could come down to like a last minute drive and Auburn gets it done, like in a high scoring game. But I mean, Seth, what do you think? I mean, I know you're the Auburn fan here as well. I mean, is there something that you're looking for, in this game with the
I mean,
quarterback situation?
I'm looking for Auburn to. I'm looking for the quarterback situation. I'm looking for him to prove to us why he's a 5-star QB.
Yeah,
Show us right now. Go ahead and
yeah.
drop 40 and maybe make it 60. Drop 60
No,
on him
hey,
real
It's a
quick.
big jump, man.
that's a little ambitious, but 40 was very doable. I
I mean,
believe that. I mean,
I want to see it. I know we can do it,
I know
and I
we
know
can
everybody
get.
wants to
I
see
know
it,
we're.
but
I know we're good for 2 touchdowns on the ground. I just need 4 in the air, 3 in the air. We might be good for 3 in the ground. I think we can do it, bro. We've been in the red zone 9 times this year. We've executed 7 out of 9 times,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Against South Alabama, we only had 8 offensive possessions. I'm cool with that. We were trying stuff out. We weren't doing what the defense told us to do by their formations and their setups. We did what we wanted to do just so we can test out our process. And Eric Singleton gave an interview on Monday talking about this game to the media, and he said, "We haven't even opened the playbook yet," essentially, not verbatim. He just said, "I feel like we haven't even really done anything yet with our passing game. Like they haven't even touched
yeah,
their plays." Because that just shows you they've been playing conservative. They haven't shown their playbook. They're not trying to put too much on film until they have to. And from what we're hearing, this is when they have to. We've been resting players, letting them heal back 100% from injury. Last week, we could have played Demario Austin. We could have played Champ Anthony. We didn't because we were letting them get healthy for SEC play. Not necessarily just Oklahoma, more of Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and Georgia, that big 3-game stretch.
yeah,
But at the same time, I mean, our running game, I mean, we have 3 real weapons. Like Jeremiah Cobb is second in the SEC in rushing yards so far. Demario Austin is the starter over him, and Jackson Arnold is one of the leaders in the SEC in rushing as well.
yeah.
So we've kind
They
of got
they got a
3 real
three-headed monster
targets.
for sure running that rock.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
One thing I want to mention is that Auburn is, like we've said, one of the better D lines so far this season in the SEC. I think that they're going to
We
take
haven't even got
away,
to the defense yet. We haven't even
yeah,
got to the
they're going to
defense yet.
take
It's
away their
crazy.
run game a little bit. I do think I like Oklahoma's running attack. To me, it's not the best. There's some aspects like Mateer with his legs and Blaylock, who averages 5.4 a carry. But overall, as a team, they're like 4.1 average. Some of that's some mop-up duty guys getting in and just backups not running the ball effectively, not seeing the hole, whatever it is. So I'm not gonna, and it's a little skewed is what I'm saying. But anyways, they haven't been super, super explosive running the ball, but through the air, Mateer is 944 yards through 3 games. He does have 5 touchdowns and he has only 5 touchdowns and 3 picks, which isn't great, but his 4 touchdowns on the ground, over 150 yards rushing, I think is still going to give him that dynamic ability that you're looking for in a big game like this. And they might have saved some stuff as well on that offense. Like they've been looking good, hitting those intermediate routes and some of those go balls. But now it's time to really get creative. And we're gonna see, like, does special teams come into play? Does Auburn have something up their sleeve? Does Hugh Freeze have a on the road trick play that he's notorious for every now and then in big moments? Is that something that you expect Auburn to kind of get in their bag with? Or is that just like we're not doing that? We're gonna play straight up how we play, like we're gonna run the ball. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we're gonna use our weapons on the outside.
I expect us to use our weapons early and often throughout the game. I expect us to pass the ball a lot more than we have all season because I will let you know, based on what you just said, Oklahoma doesn't really give up a lot of runs. I think they're leading college football. They're one of the leaders in college football in amount of running yards allowed per game.
Right.
So I think they're kind of big on the run, and I think they're going to definitely try to prevent Auburn from doing that. So I believe we're going to have to pass the ball early and often. We're going to have to trust our wide receivers. What I'm nervous about, though, in that regard, is our tight end situation. We got a transfer tight end in from Maryland named Preston Howard, and he had a really bad game against South Alabama. He only got credited with one drop, but it really should have been like three or
Yeah.
more. Like very poor execution on his part, and that's our passing tight end. That's the guy we got to pass the ball to. That's our starter in that regard. That's why we brought him in. And if he can't be effective, if Jackson Arnold doesn't have that as an avenue when he gets in trouble, or if he can't hit a big target like him, just like an Oklahoma side, their number one wide receiver is the tight end,
Yeah.
then I feel like that's going to cause an issue. But
Right.
I don't know. I strongly believe that their defense is not going to be completely prepared for what we have to offer them.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try to game plan for what they've seen on film, which is a lot of running and a lot of simple passes, a lot of unsophisticated route trees. But I definitely think that ends starting on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. So go
Like it.
ahead. I want to hear Seth's prediction. What do you think you're gonna go with your final? What's your gut telling you? You said you want to see 40 points. Is that where Auburn gets to in this?
Yeah, we're getting to 42.
42?
42-28.
Six
Okay.
touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like y'all are both kind of leaning towards a six touchdown, Auburn offense that day.
Yeah,
I
I
definitely
like
believe we'll
six
get scored
tutties.
6 touchdowns. Yeah.
I like
Okay.
six tutties.
I
Um,
think we're gonna have two or three on the ground.
so 42-28 Seth's prediction. Braxton, what's your final prediction? He's dialed in here. He's seeing the future. His crystal ball is churning.
I like 42, 35.
Okay. 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 So a
I
little
think they
shootout
score
here.
early. So the thing is, we are. I hope this is something that we can fix, but because this wasn't a problem against, well, it was a problem against Baylor. Our secondary. I'm nervous about that.
Yeah.
Our linebackers are surprisingly good, except for when they're covering. I don't like
Yeah.
our linebackers in coverage. Uh, I love our linebackers the way they attack the rush, but
Right.
I don't know. I'm just kind of nervous about the pass game.
Yeah, I
I
mean
just
that's
feel
fair.
like
That's fair. I mean, what did Hugh say in the press conference this week? Talking about we need to trust ourselves in the secondary. We can't worry about being perfect and all that kind of stuff. So they've been hard on themselves. It seems like the last week, and I'm sure in practice they've really been trying to tell those guys like don't need to worry about being the most perfect defense and secondary that you can be, but just about being your best and getting better every week. Obviously, it's cliche coach talk, but I feel like that's true when you're a struggling secondary at times. Like you can't get so down about, oh, you gave up one deep ball. Like it happens, man. Like you're in college football. Sometimes the ball bounces weird. It's a funny shaped ball. So it happens. I get it. I'm a big Bama fan. I'm not, rooting for Auburn, but at the same time, I do want to see it to be a pretty good game. And I think it can be a good game. I know Mason's lower on Auburn in this game for some reason, which I don't really trust. I think that ultimately Auburn's going to have a pretty good balance of running and throwing. I think Arnold's running will pretty effective. The wide receivers should be involved early and often. I agree with that, Brax. And I think they can be. It's just going to be about can he limit turnovers? Can Jackson Arnold go back to where he started his college career? Can he get something going early, like a deep shot to Coleman, a deep crosser, Singleton, something to help him get in that rhythm? And then can he use his legs after that? Can they hand it off to their workhorse running backs and get that run game, effective enough so they can't just be one dimensional? Then with Oklahoma, ultimately how I see it playing out is I do think they do get a turnover or two on Arnold. I think it comes later in the game. I don't think it's necessarily early, but I think it's when it's like
what
really,
makes you
really,
think that?
really. I just think that from what we saw last year, I think they understand his tendencies a little more, and clearly that's where he played at, so they know his weaknesses better than anybody. And I feel like ultimately late in the game, they will get enough pressure even though Auburn's O line is pretty solid, I think they'll get enough pressure just because of the coverage schemes that Venerables will have. And I think it's going to be under what you guys are saying total points wise, because this is only a 48.5 total. I think I'm going to go final score 28, Oklahoma, Auburn 24. And I just think it's going to be a little bit slow to start, but maybe, the fourth quarter is some fireworks. And I want to see that because I want it to be a good game.
I can respect that opinion. I really can. I really just think that Auburn really opens up the playbook here, and I think we show some things that you got. I'm not even trying to be
No, tell me how you're feeling,
too
man. It's okay.
optimistic. I mean, honestly, and I've looked at, like I said, watched all of John Mateer's highlights this year. I watched the games. I get it. He's athletic.
Yeah.
He's a threat. He's definitely a gunslinger. He's
Yeah.
got aura. He's really cool. He's a cool guy. Same time, dude. I mean, just looking at the talent that they've played, he hasn't seen anything like Auburn before this year.
I do
Yeah,
think that is a little true, just because I mean he coming into this year he
Michigan.
hasn't. But the Michigan thing, I still will stand on that. Michigan's defense is pretty solid. Like I think that was a good test. He didn't play a super clean football at times in that game, but he still put up a lot of yards and touchdowns when they needed it. And his legs are really effective. Maybe him and Arnold both go for like 70 plus rushing yards, and I could see that. I really could. I hope it's a good shootout, but I'm gonna go under slightly what you guys got. I still think it's over the total 48.5 though. I got 28-24, so that'd be like 52 points.
I think that Auburn has a good. I think that Auburn. I think Jackson Arnold can really run that ball, and I think he will. He's a better rusher than John Mateer. John Mateer is not effective with his legs as Jackson Arnold, and I stand on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think both are really good runners, but I get what you're saying. Jackson can have a big day on the ground. They did limit Bryce Underwood when he came there to like -3 yards. I know some of that's sacks, but he is a good runner too. He just went crazy last week, but I know that's a different kind of runner. He's more physical, and Jackson's a little faster probably and twitchier. But I want to see him throw the ball, and I want to see how that goes. And if he can hit some of those shots early, like we said, then they got a shot.
just me. Paying these wide receivers over $1 million a piece. I want to see them throw the ball too. I want to see that money get earned. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
I want to see a nice throwing attack. And if
oh
we don't
yeah,
have it, I want to know that this game before
yeah.
the rest of the season. You know
Because
what I
when
mean?
you get into that grunt, what is this? A 4 week stretch of just absolute gauntlet for Auburn. Just I mean, just like Bama's after their bye, it's pretty much the next month is hell in the SEC for a lot of these teams because everybody's pretty solid. There's no great team. Anybody can lose any week. Auburn's got at Oklahoma, at A&M, and then home versus Georgia and Missouri. Correct?
Yep. And then Arkansas, they're not
They're
bad.
not
Right
bad.
after
Taylor
that,
Green and Petrino are pretty nice. Dude, it's just I like the SEC this year because it's so open, but it's scary.
it's wide open, but there's a lot of good teams.
A&M is going to be nice. I mean, they did what they need to do on the road against Notre Dame, and I feel like all the quarterbacks have been solid other than the ones that were supposed to be good. We saw Arch Manning look terrible against Ohio State, and even last week was worse. Somehow, I don't know how you were worse against an inferior opponent like UTEP or whoever it was. And then Lagway with 5 picks on the road. He lost to South Florida at home. He hasn't been looking great his whole career at Florida. He's been a turnover machine. And then he was one of the best preseason quarterbacks. And then what? Sellers hasn't looked amazing. He's been banged up. They don't have a lot of talent on that team like they thought they would. So that's another issue. Then after that, I mean, what? Nussmeier's been banged up apparently. That's a secret that
He's
nobody
not
wants to
that
be
good
let
either.
out. He's not
He's
he's not that
overrated.
good either. Seth, I'm sorry. Your
Yeah.
Heisman pick might not come true, but neither will Cody's with Cade Klubnik, so it's all good, brother. I don't know, Braxton. What do you think? Your Heisman pick for the rest of the season? Because mine was Jeremiah Smith.
I think I had Calvin Jennings.
What?
Hmm?
No, you didn't.
I picked it on this show, dude. I'm
Did
pretty
you
sure.
really? I don't
I need
remember
to
that.
see. I
Kevin Jennings
forgot.
from SMU?
Yeah, I need
That's
to go
okay.
back
I
and
mean,
check.
look, I get the idea. The
I
odds are
thought it was
pretty
going to be
crazy.
unique. I got to go back and check that though. Should have picked Jackson Arnold. He's going. I feel good about Jackson.
You feel
Plus
good about Jackson?
2,200.
Oh,
Plus
okay.
22-1
That's a good
right now
odds. I get it.
before he's even played a real team yet. Just
So
wait till he has 137 rushing yards against Oklahoma.
okay, okay.
What would you do? How would you be impressed if he had 137 rushing yards against Oklahoma?
Yes, I would be because I think their defense is pretty good.
What makes you think their defense is good?
No, I mean I'm just saying like against Michigan they took away their run completely, other than that 75-yard run from Justice Haynes,
But
the running back.
yeah, but besides the busted run, which Auburn can exploit a lot more than Michigan.
I'm just saying like that's my point is that there was only one big run in that game. Like they shut down Michigan's running attack. And I feel like overall they've given up hardly nothing to anybody. I know they didn't play anybody. They went to on the road and played Temple, but they still had that Michigan opponent come to them. Big game, gave up what 13 points. I know it's Bryce. This is, his first big test
His
as a
first
freshman.
his first test on the road as literally like a
Right.
17, 18-year-old trying to lead a team.
He
I'm
is one of
sorry.
the
I'm
most
not
like highly looked at quarterbacks to come out of the last couple of years though. So I'm just being fair, like I got to look at it
he's
fair.
a good recruit. Like he's supposed to be good. I'm just saying.
I just like
I'm
Oklahoma and Venerables to just have a little bit more in the clutch on defense than what Jackson's used to seeing. Like so far this year, right? Baylor's Swiss cheese on defense, Brax.
Mm.
Swiss cheese against SMU. That game was first play. SMU went down the field, bomb. And granted, it was like a weird, tip catch, whatever thing. But that whole game was like exactly what everybody thought. 48-45 OT, whatever it was. They were terrible against Auburn. And I'm just saying, like Auburn hasn't seen a defense yet like Oklahoma. That's just a fact.
I agree. But like I said, we have not used any of our plays. Like you forget, Auburn's got a good defense too.
I understand
Our
that.
defense is going against our offense daily.
Right.
Those guys are ready for whatever comes at them. Promise you. Like
I hear you.
you don't think like our 5-star receivers are being guarded by 5-star corners in practice now. And this is what Georgia did. This is what Bama did for years that built the strength of their program. You have to have the iron sharpen the iron. So I believe that our offense helps our defense and our defense helps our offense. And they both grow in that regard because they're both good in their individuals. It's like they're both good on their own and then they get to practice with each other.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready for whatever Oklahoma has.
I mean,
We're
Auburn's definitely
we're
got a
bigger in the trenches.
Auburn's
Hmm?
definitely got the D line to keep this game interesting, and they do have the weapons on the outside on offense. So if they can combine that and not have turnovers, then yeah, they can win. I'm just still gonna go with Oklahoma. The Mateer thing, I think he's better than Arnold, and I think that the defense is gonna be a little bit of a problem for him. And home field advantage, whether it's a night game or not, I'm still taking that. It's not even like I'm saying it's a blowout. I hope it's not. I hope it's what I'm thinking. It was just 28-24, but. That's what I got. I don't even have anything crazy to say about Auburn. I really don't. I picked them to be Baylor. I think that they're a good team. I said they would go like 8-4, 9-3 this year just because of the schedule. It's hard, but I think they lose this game, and I think early spoiler for next week's show, they probably lose to A&M unless there's some crazy injury. And I think they
I
beat
can see
Georgia.
us.
I think they beat Georgia at home.
That's possible. We could be Georgia. It's definitely not out of the mix. That
Yeah.
would be
That would be
cool.
lit.
But I'm just saying, for this game, this is kind of we can whatever after this one. But
Yeah.
John Mateer, like you said, Auburn hasn't seen a defense like them. They haven't seen a defense like ours.
That's
They
It'll
true.
be
haven't.
it'll be a hell
Michigan's
of a game.
whatever. Hmm?
I said it'll be a hell of a game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Michigan hasn't seen a defense like ours, and even they played a inferior defense and still threw multiple picks.
I mean, like you
Like
said, Mateer is a gunslinger, so Auburn's got chances to get turnovers.
I think we have the talent on the outside, on defense and offense, to create plays, and I think we're going to trust. We're going to use the run game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say we rely on it, but I was listening to one of those ball guys, Josh Pate, today,
Yeah.
and he said Auburn has to have the run game. Oklahoma doesn't have to have the run game, but that's a requirement for Auburn. I'm like, how do you know? You say you watched a lot of the ball. You think all we have are runs? You think we only have 23 pass plays in our
No, we
arsenal?
don't. We don't. We
Yeah,
got about a
it's
hundred.
just it's like Mason was saying, you got to see it, I guess. That's the thing we want to see. As a fan of football, you want to see them use those weapons. So we'll see. I mean, it's pretty much about the last thing we can say about that game because I mean, we can sit here and talk about that forever, just
Yeah, I got you.
considering
We
no,
can
just
move
the
on.
Auburn aspect. I feel like we're going to talk about Auburn a lot this year because they're going to be in big games. So next week, A&M, Georgia the week after, Missouri. Like there's so many Auburn previews coming up, so save it for that, and we'll see, Brax, what happens. But hoping for a good game here. I don't want any of these previews to be absolutely terrible. I want this to be fun to watch for us. So final game for college football. We're gonna go into the Big Ten now with Michigan and Nebraska. Michigan goes on the road to Nebraska. Michigan's, I believe, let me see what their rank is. Number 21 Michigan is a 2.5 point favorite as of now versus Nebraska, who is unranked. The total is low. It's 46.5. Not super surprising with how these teams play. Key matchups for this game and what might decide it. Nebraska's passing attack versus Michigan's secondary. If Rayola has time, his receivers get open, they can be very effective and put up points. He has 0 picks on the year. I think he has 8 touchdowns. He's throwing the ball very, very well. He's, high completion percentage, all that stuff. Now, they haven't played anybody other than Cincinnati, so, this is their first big test, but at least it's a home game for Nebraska. That program with Matt Rule, they're looking for a signature win. Last year I think they were 7-6. Year before they were like 5-7. They need this really bad because they're at a turning point, I feel like, in their season. And because they start out every year, it seems like with Matt Rule pretty good, like 3-0 or whatever. Then they play somebody like a Michigan and they get their doors blown off. So they don't want that to happen at home. Michigan, on the other hand, their rushing attack versus Nebraska's run defense. If Michigan can establish the run early, they can control tempo, eat clock, and keep Nebraska's offense off the field. And then big plays and explosive moments. Nebraska has been efficient and explosive, particularly through the air. Michigan does need to limit that and in the passing game and explosive run game. But turnovers and red zone, this will be the last thing I'll say before we kind of give our picks and stuff. Both critical for both teams, and especially when you have a strong defensive identity like Michigan does. So mistakes could definitely swing momentum in this game. Home field, like I mentioned, in Lincoln for Nebraska, it's really going to be massive. I think this will keep them in the game for most part. And Rayola's play, if he keeps it clean, I think they can really either win the game or just really, really keep it close in Michigan, especially early in conference play. Michigan has done well in Lincoln historically, but home crowd can definitely matter in this game for sure. It's not a night game like these other two games we've previewed. So it's going to be big for both teams. Just Michigan's already lost. This is a conference game, so hopefully they get on the right track. And Michigan still wants to make the playoffs. So does Nebraska, even though that might be funny to some people. Nebraska in the playoffs seems crazy, but they could do it. Just a couple of things would need to happen. This will be the first domino to fall. So, with that being said, Braxton, what do you think? Is your gut telling you Michigan comes in there, gets the win like they should, or do you think Nebraska takes care of business once and for all?
I think Michigan takes care of business. I think they are upset about last week. Not last week, but they're
I know
upset
what you
about
mean.
losing
Yeah,
to Oklahoma. So
right.
I think this is their first real test after the fact, and they're gonna try to show America that they're not a joke, kind of like Alabama did with Wisconsin. I think Michigan does to Nebraska.
Yeah,
So I think Michigan goes in here and wins handily.
handily. So I think it was like a 2.5 point spread, 46.5 total. What is your score prediction? What is handily to you? Love this thought, this long pause that we're getting.
31-15.
31-15. Okay. So is that because you don't trust Rayola that much?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way.
I
I've
don't
watched
really trust
him.
Rayola
He gives
at
me
all.
obviously the Mahomes thing is weird. We all know that. That's not what we're going to talk about because you hear that on every show ever. I want to talk about something I've seen, and I know not a lot of people watch Nebraska. Like you're watching the SEC, you're watching the bigger Big Ten schools, or the Clemson's and whatever. I think that when I watch Nebraska, Rayola does this thing like Cam Ward would do, where he's like super nonchalant and he's kind of like methodical, and he'll just like sit there. He just looks chill in the pocket. He'll throw a little dart. It's cool. It's calm. Sometimes though, he looks too chill. Like bro looks like he's going like in slow motion. And I know last week they played like Houston Christian, so it didn't matter. He could do that. But dude, when you're playing a Michigan caliber defense, you're gonna get sped up. And if you're just sitting in the pocket being nonchalant, thinking you're Cam Ward 2.0, like I don't think that's gonna fly. And I think Michigan's got the defense to shut that down. And I don't trust him in the clutch moments yet. I just personally haven't seen it. So you got to show me something. This could be the game that he does that. But I'm gonna go Bryce
Yeah,
Underwood, kind of going crazy on the ground. I think he's looked good overall this year. I mean, the Michigan Oklahoma game, he wasn't the best, but this is his bounce back game. He's already gotten, baptized playing Oklahoma on the road. So his career started off uh, challenging. So I think he's got that out the way. He's ready to roll now. Nebraska, obviously hard place to play historically, but for Michigan, they've done well there. So give me Michigan 27-20. I think it's ultimately just defense for Michigan and the run game gets it over the hump. And I feel like, yeah, I mean, Bryce Underwood to me is better than Rayola. So that's kind of the edge that I think they have.
I'm looking
Yeah,
here.
I
You
like
know,
Michigan.
you
You
live in
like Michigan
Michigan.
too?
I like
What's the
Michigan.
score, Seth?
I'm going 32-24 Michigan.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
That's what I got.
What are you
You
saying,
know,
Brax?
Nebraska's first in pass defense,
Are they really?
like passing yards allowed. They
Yeah.
only allow 52.3.
Yeah. They did look good against Cincinnati. They kept that game low scoring. But I
Well,
just
we'll see if
I
they
don't
can do that
expect
against
them
Michigan.
I don't expect them to need to throw the ball at Michigan. I think they can run the ball effectively enough against Nebraska and keep this a ground and pound defensive game like they want to play. And I think that's something they couldn't do against Oklahoma, but against Nebraska they might be able to do that. And they don't need to hit a bunch of throws. They just need to hit one or two in key situations to keep them ahead.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on, I guess to NFL. We've got a
Mm,
couple of games real quick just to dive into. We're not going to spend too long on each one, but we want to give our quick analysis and, just thoughts on the season so far. So we do, I believe, have three games to preview just like college. So let's get into it. This week, first game we're going to talk about. There's no real great Thursday night game this week. It's the Dolphins at the Bills, so we're going to skip that one. We do want to go right into the Rams versus the Eagles. That is a rematch of the
mm.
divisional round last year in the NFC. I'm sorry, Eagles are a 3.5 point favorite at home. Total is 44 and a half, fairly low, but NFL totals are always kind of in the mid 40s or high 40s. So, Eagles, what did they do last week? They played a ugly game against the Chiefs, kind of what they wanted to do, what they've been doing a lot of the times is, just suffocating you on defense and running the ball, not throwing it to AJ Brown or Smitty.
Nope,
Um,
not
Jalen
at all,
Hurts
actually.
doing a tush push once again, and everybody's pissed about it.
Jalen
So
Rant.
Stafford, on the other hand, looking like a dog. Thought he was hurt to begin the year, but he's looking pretty healthy. Stafford with Devontae Adams finally got going. Took him about 4 tries in the end zone to get that touchdown.
Good
But
Lord.
targets are crazy for Stafford and Devontae and Puka. So that's going to be the three-headed monster for the Rams. Then you got Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. Pretty good 1-2 punch. Rams defensive line is young and they're going after the quarterback. So clearly the Eagles want to do what they did last year, establish a run, not have to make Jalen throw, which is what they've been doing. So I guess that leads me to ask you guys, do the Eagles get another win at home versus the Rams this year? I think they beat them twice in the last year, on the road at the Rams once and then at home in the playoffs. But it was a really good snow game. Like Stafford and Puka at the end almost had a chance. They got down the red zone, but they couldn't convert. So is this the game that they can get that done?
Uh, I don't think so.
Mm.
I think the Eagles are good at dub.
Sounded like you wanted to pick the Rams though.
It took me a second to realize what you said,
Yeah.
but mm, I mean, low key though, if the Eagles can't establish the run like they did before, I feel like it might be chalked for them. Because
For the Eagles.
yeah, for the Eagles. Because
Right.
Jalen Hurts. What did he have? He barely had 100 yards
Yeah, they're just not throwing.
last.
They're literally not throwing
They're
the
not
ball.
throwing it. Yeah, and they're only
Um,
throwing it when they
Cool
literally
when they
need to
do it.
throw it.
It's a problem when Auburn does it.
Yeah, no,
hey, I
it's
didn't say it
just
was
I just want to
cool.
point that out.
I didn't say it was cool. Now, I think that they're possibly doing what Braxton was saying with Auburn, right? They're saving the plays for this game. Like I know they played the Chiefs, but I feel like they knew that they were going to beat the Chiefs. But with the Rams defense, their defensive line and all that, Eagles might have a choice or no choice but to throw the ball this game. And so you might see AJ Brown for once, get a bunch of targets. But don't hold me to it. It's been a weird start for the Eagles in their past game. I do think I am going to go Eagles here, but it's going to be close. I think all their games this year might be really close just because they just feel different to me. Like they're not as elite this year on defense as they were. They're pretty good up front, but their secondary is a little, iffy sometimes just because you lost, Darius Slay. And, I feel like Quinn or not Quinn, CJ Gardner Johnson, Chauncey Gardner Johnson was a big loss too. He went to the Texans. So Quinny Mitchell,
Yep.
Cooper DeJean, very good, but still some holes. I
Yeah.
do love their front seven, their linebackers, Jahad Campbell, Bond, Nolan Smith. Then you got Jalen Carter and Davidson. I think they're awesome. Their O-line's awesome, but passing needs to step it up. Let's see. Devontae had 4 catches for 53. AJ had 5 for
How many
27.
how many catches or attempts did he have? He had probably like 10 or
Yeah,
11.
no. He was 15 of 22.
No, I
Well,
meant
oh,
Devonte.
The target wise,
Yeah,
he had
target. That's
six
what I
targets, 4 catches.
six.
A
Only six?
it's eight. Devontae Smith had 6 targets. AJ Brown
Oh,
had 8 targets.
I'm thinking we're talking about Devonte Adams.
No, 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 no. Devontae
Talking
Adams.
about
Let's go.
we're talking about the Eagles,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah, yeah. Let's go
Yeah,
to the
I'm
let's go to the
good.
Rams though, because I know that's a good point. Let's see how many targets
Dude,
these guys
that's
are
like
getting.
he might have 4 catches for 12 targets.
So Stafford was 22, I'm sorry, 23, 33, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And then Kyron Williams was like 66 on the ground, 45 for Puka with that crazy run that he had for a touchdown. And Corum had 44 and a touchdown. So running the ball well. And then Devontae, 6 catches, 106 yards, but 13 targets, seven that didn't, come down as a catch. He did have a touchdown finally. Puka had 8 for 91 and 9 targets. So more effective. And that's probably because of the chemistry, right? Like the Puka
Yeah.
chemistry is better. Devontae's still working on it, but bro was looking a little iffy at times. We need him
If
to lock in on the red zone targets.
lock in, he literally threw it to him on all 3 downs.
I kind of want to pick the Rams because I feel like
Due
they're
for
low
a
key
nice one.
built for this game. Like they're
Yeah.
built to win this road game. They're built to throw the ball on these corners that are young. They have Devontae and Puka. Like that's the best duo in the league, possibly, other than T. Higgins and Jamar. But Stafford, is better than Jake Browning because Joe Burrow's out. So I trust them to be the best trio in the league for the rest of the year. So I mean, man, I want to pick the Rams. I really want to pick the Rams. But Stafford's lack of mobility, that Rams defense is still good enough to keep him in the game. But give me the Eagles in a tight one. I'm gonna say 20. I'm gonna say 26 to 23 Eagles. That's what I got.
26-23 Eagles.
26-23 Eagles.
I
Yeah.
like the Eagles as well. I don't think the Rams beat them.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm not gonna lie. I think we might all be Eagles here.
Yeah.
I
I don't
think
want to
I
don't
kind
want
of
to be
see a
that
game. I kind of see like a 21-18.
low scoring game.
Yeah. About 3 point spread.
Yeah. So they are 3.5 point favorites. So I guess I would have the Rams barely covering that by the hook. Moving on, we got a divisional matchup in the AFC West. Both
I bet
teams.
Rams plus 3.5. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would too, I think. I think this game's gonna be really tight. Broncos at the Chargers. Broncos just came off of a heartbreaking loss to the Colts where they could have won. Then they had that leveraging penalty on the kick. So like you can't interfere with the center on the snap. And essentially a dude missed, but then they got to re-kick it, and then the Colts won the game. So very tough, tough, tough game. But I'm gonna start over by saying Broncos on the road. Chargers are at home 2-0. They're, I guess, what is it, 2.5 point spread, and total is 45.5. Just want to get that for the clip. Anyways, Chargers looking really good to start the year. Keenan Allen's
Yeah.
looking like prime Keenan. They got McConkey, and then Quinn Johnson can catch the ball. Who would have guessed?
Wow, it's about time, man.
Right. And then what? I mean, the running game has been absolutely terrible with Amari Hampton and Najee, but so far they didn't need it. Like they've thrown the ball great. The only thing I will say that's concerning is the Khalil Mack dislocated elbow situation, which he is out for a little bit. He will come back this year, but they still, with Harbaugh, somehow are one of the best defenses. They don't really have a lot of names other than Derwin James and Khalil Mack, but they find a
And
way to get
Khalil
it
Mack is
done.
hurt.
That's what I'm saying. I was
Oh
mentioning like
yeah,
he's
yeah,
out. Like he's not playing for a little
yeah. I don't
while.
think. Yeah,
I don't think that that's going to be good against the Broncos, who are a really good team. And I think
yeah.
that could be a game where Broncos could steal it at the end. I really do. But I'm not gonna say that Surtain locks up Keenan Allen, but I'm not gonna not say that. Like
Mm,
I think that Surtain is probably gonna make this a McConkey game, which is good for McConkey
it's
fantasy
great,
owners,
great.
right?
I mean,
Just throw it to McConkey
I
20
think I
times.
don't even think he really needs Keenan in this battle because personally I don't know if the Broncos have been looking like the Broncos were last year
Yeah,
at this
their
In
point.
run
You
their
know,
run defense has been
on
it's
horrid.
looking.
defense,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean on defense they're obviously pretty stacked on defense, but
Well,
I'm
their
talking about
corners,
like
yes, but their run defense has been horrible.
it's been
Jonathan Taylor went
awful.
crazy.
Um, but Bo Nix isn't launching that rock like he was last year. And I mean, obviously, it's only been 2 weeks, whatever. But I do need to see that winner mentality here, especially against a good team like the Chargers. Like, if you're going to show that you can compete this year, I feel like it starts right now.
Yeah. Struggled at home against the Titans week one. Didn't cover
Yeah, can't be struggling against the
at
Titans.
home.
No, can't
do
be
it.
doing that.
Yeah.
Even if it's week one.
They did have a better offensive performance last week, put up 28
Yeah,
on the road. I mean, Bo
yeah.
did have three tutties. That one pick wasn't great, but J.K. Dobbins going back to play this is another revenge game, going back to play his old team, the Chargers, who didn't give him a
Mm-hmm.
deal. They brought in Najee instead. Maybe feel a certain type of way. So that
Probably
Broncos
does.
Broncos run defense was getting gashed. So watch out for
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins this week to go crazy.
Oh. We doing
Revenge game.
anytime tutty?
I'm thinking we
J.K.
do the
Dobbins?
anytime tutty and maybe hammer the yards. Just thinking about
Anytime
it.
Tutty,
Anytime
He
tutty
scored
J.K.
twice so
Dobby?
far in the first two games, so I
You
think it
know
might
he's gonna want
happen.
to score against the Chargers, bro.
Right. And RJ Harvey's getting hardly any targets and I mean rushes. I feel like it's JK's backfield for now. So he got 14 for 76 in the tutty last week. That's a 5.4 average. I guess a pretty good Colts defense. So and then you have Troy Franklin. He's been emerging as a good wide receiver two next to Cortland Sutton. He had 8 for 89 and a touchdown off of 9 targets. He's looking really good this year. They have Marvin Mims as well, but yeah, Pat Bryant, who they drafted. Evan Ingram hasn't done literally shit, which is terrible if you
And
drafted
he's
him.
questionable. I
Yeah,
did in
I
multiple
know. I
leagues
have him
thinking
in a dynasty, so
I'm benching him for K Dot and
you might
not
as
much
well.
better, but I mean he's
Yeah.
questionable. I don't even know if he's gonna play.
So I guess saying all that, I want to, man, I want to pick, I want to pick the Broncos, but I'm not. I'm gonna pick the Chargers just because, man, I just feel like Herbert's on one right now. I feel like
He
Herbert is
is.
having an MVP start
He
over
got that
two even
Madison
though
beer buff, man. I'm
he
telling you,
got that buff.
that shit is does not play.
It's like the Josh Allen buff when he
That's
got his
literally,
girl. Like it
dude.
happens,
It is a buff that cannot be beat, and
man.
Madison beer especially, cuh.
You gotta, and she's gonna be there probably, so you gotta go crazy.
You know
It's a
she
home
gonna be
game.
there, and she gonna hit it with that meme I've been seeing, man, where she looked back, and then there's a Justin Herbert edit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need to
beautiful.
see. I'm gonna need to see that.
yeah, but some real ball analysis. I'm gonna give Herbert and McConkey to have big games, and then I think, um, oh wait, yeah. Herbert and McConkey. I was tripping for a minute. I'm so backwards on this for a second. The J.K. Dobbins thing. I got backwards. I was thinking for a second, I was like talking about his revenge game, which it is a revenge game, but I was kind of misleading a lot of people here with the stats. It's the Broncos defense who's bad, which I did say on the ground, but the Chargers defense who's pretty good, but Khalil Mack being out should allow JK to still have a good game. I definitely misspoke in the beginning of that. I was confusing, him still being on the Chargers. But my point is, JK revenge game, still think it applies here. Going back to the Chargers, and I think with Khalil Mack out, maybe, and I know he's on the edge, so it's not like the interior guys, which I do like the Chargers interior, but I think on the edge they could, pop one. JK could have a good game. Still think that anytime touchdown applies. And then I'm gonna go with McConkey to have a big game, and ultimately Derwin James to pick off Bo Nix in the crunch time, and I feel like Chargers win it. I'm gonna say gonna say low key, it might be a shootout, might be a slight shootout, might be 30, 31. I'm gonna say 31-28 Chargers. Might be crazy for that. I'm really might be crazy for that.
Do you think that Bo Nix has that ability? Can he put up yards like that? Can he score
Well,
like
I
that?
mean, he
with Khalil Mack
can.
out, maybe.
He can, but is he gonna? Probably not.
Probably
Because you
not,
know
but
why?
I'm gonna say it's a shootout because I want to see it.
Because it's a Madison beer buff, man.
Yeah, and honestly, I was thinking this might be a fake fan thing to go with, or like a fake football guy thing to go with, but
Okay.
he is undefeated with that girl.
He is.
Sometimes you just
He
gotta ride the
is.
trend.
I'm telling you, bro, till
Like
the
that's all I'm trying to say. Sometimes
if
you
it
gotta go
ain't
with the trend. I
Yeah.
think this is a game where you go with the trend.
if it
He's
ain't broke,
undefeated with
don't
Danny
break it, man.
Madison. I don't think I don't
He's got
think
the
the
MB
Denver
buff.
Broncos break that chain.
Yeah. I want to take back my pick. I actually thought about it. Too many points. 31-28 is too many because these defenses are pretty good. I'm gonna say official pick. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. I'm gonna say 24-21
Hmm.
Chargers. That's what I got.
I'm gonna do that same exact thing actually.
Yeah. It just
Yeah,
feels
I
like
like that.
when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Even though Khalil Mack's out, that defense is still gonna be ready to play.
I still
Even the
got
Broncos
Derwin.
defense are still good in the secondary, so might be low scoring a little bit. Total 45 and a half. You know,
It's not prime time or nothing, is it?
no, it's 4 o'clock game for 4 o'clock for me, I think. So
Hmm.
yeah, it should be a fun game though in division. That's gonna be big though. If the Chargers go up 3-0, start the year, and then the Broncos are 1-2, and then the Chiefs are what 0-2 right now.
Dude, I mean,
They could go on a little losing streak too.
I know we hate Marion Hampton, but
I know
I
the
mean,
Broncos need,
their offense and defense are crispy. Like they
yeah,
got
Why would we hate a
Keenan
Marion
Ladd
Hampton?
because Marion Hampton has
because
done nothing in fantasy for me,
I
and just
mean
in general.
Hayden needed like 2 points to win, and
He didn't do anything.
he got like two
He
points.
was horrible, man.
He
So he's
needed two more.
overrated.
He was just a bad pick, I feel like, or they don't use him right. It was just one of those.
They split heli carries.
But they didn't even
So
run the
lousy.
ball. They didn't even
Yeah.
run it. They said,
Yeah.
screw it. As soon as I draft a Jim Harbaugh running back, he turns into an air raid genius. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
Anyways,
when Quentin Johnson starts catching the
yeah,
ball, we've got
you
problems.
got fantasy all screwed up. Like, there's no way
Yeah.
we're in the same reality anymore that we were
Yeah.
last year. But anyways, Quinn Johnson's like wide receiver one for a lot of teams, it looks like. But no, I mean, he's really just catching the ball once and for all. Like, he had a lot of those opportunities last year, and he's finally just connecting on those deep passes where last year he would just drop them. But anyways, Lions Ravens is our Monday night game. Thank the Lord we're getting a banger. I feel like the Raiders
Mm,
Chargers was not good, and then the Bucks was good. Bucks Texans was good. It was just super low scoring. So Lions Ravens, it's Lions at the Ravens. Ravens are 4.5 point favorites. Total is 52 and a half. They're thinking fireworks, I feel like, in this game. And I'm thinking it too. I'm thinking
yeah, I
right
like it.
now, both offenses are clicking. We just saw a 52 piece for the Lions against the Bears. We just saw 40 something
That
points
was
for the
hurtful.
Ravens. We know what they're capable of week one with the 40 points they put up and they in the loss against the Bills. But Ravens got a nice defense. So do the Lions. But when you meet two juggernauts, I just feel like they're gonna go band for band. And I'm expecting that. And I'm expecting Lamar to have that MVP Lamar performance at home. But I'm also expecting the Lions to try to establish their running duo of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Because I think Goff is going to have a hard time throwing for as many yards as he did against the Bears, just because I like Kyle
Oh yeah.
Hamilton, Marlon. I mean, Jair Alexander's taking a step back, but he's still a decent player. And they drafted Nate Wiggins. They got the dude from Georgia at safety, Malachi Starks. They're loaded in the secondary.
Yeah,
Injury
man.
wise, I'm not going to act like, you know, guys aren't banged up. I'm sure both teams, are definitely feeling it because it's been a physical start of the year. Both have played some tough opponents. Lions, though, Monroe had 3 touchdowns last week. Is this a game where they're like, we got to take a Monroe away and we got to make, somebody beat us like JMO or Tesla? Because I feel like
I
that's kind of
think
the
so.
strategy.
I mean, I would like to think so. I mean, I would hope they wouldn't let Amon-Ra get another three tutties.
Yeah,
Maybe they can't stop him. Maybe he's like that.
Maybe he is like that.
maybe
That
he
boy
is like
said,
that.
I don't even
I
remember what
don't
this was from,
Oh,
but
you
that was
said,
a celebration thing.
yeah. No, I think that's something to watch. Also, Derrick Henry did literally shit last week,
And
so
he
expect
fumbled.
him to go crazy. because he's good.
Anytime
Yeah,
soon.
Primetime Derek.
one of my fantasy teams felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It
Derrick
was
Henry didn't do anything. I was like, is he hurt? I kept checking. Why didn't he have an O by his name?
Yeah. I
What is
know.
going on? Is he
I
injured?
Browns just took him away out of that game. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know, but that hurt.
See what the Lions though. Week one against the Packers and Lions went on the road. Clearly they got worked 27-13. It was a lot, it was a bigger blowout than a two touchdown game. But they did nothing on the ground. They did 22 rushes for 46 yards against the Packers defense, who looks elite. And then they
hmm
gave up 66 yards to Josh Jacobs on 19 carries. So they contained Josh Jacobs. So clearly they have the capability to contain running backs. Their defense is good, but I do feel like Derrick Henry's going to be on a mission to bounce back, and I worry about that. I think he has a good primetime performance. I am going to go Ravens in a shootout. I'm thinking like 34-30. Ravens win, but it should be a fun game. And I just think ultimately Lamar's legs and his passer rating is off the charts. He's going to get it done through the air with maybe another D-Hop deep ball, maybe another big performance from Zay. Where the hell is Mark Andrews? I don't know, but they get Isaiah Likely back this week, so that's pretty good. So let's see them use him. Let's see Derek go off. But also, same thing with Gibbs. I think Gibbs has a good game. I think the Ravens will try to take away Amon-Ra, but it's not going to be easy to take away that entire offense. So, Gibbs, Laporta, JMO, they still have weapons, Tesla. So I think it'll be a fun game.
I like Ravens.
Ravens, what's your score prediction?
38-31.
Okay. Nice shootout.
I also like Ravens here. I'm gonna go 42-38.
Oh, big
A
shootout.
actual banger.
Man, we need it. We need it. Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, hopefully it all, is like that because I want to see these games all be really close. I think they will be just because they're in the NFL. Most of these good games are always close.
We've
But
had some pretty good bangers this year already.
we've had some good primetime games specifically. Even that that 1 o'clock Giants Cowboys game was unbelievable.
That was a lit
Oh
game.
God, that game
Damn.
was crazy.
I was
Dude,
hype. I was
Russ was
loving to
looking
see
like
Russ.
prime Russ Braxton,
Uh-huh.
and we were talking about
Uh,
last week on the pod before that game. I don't know how it came up, but we were talking with our friend Brett. Um, he was saying we were talking about Russ for some reason, and we were like, does he make the Hall of Fame, because his
Mm,
career with the Seahawks
I
was
do
the
remember that.
the Hall of Fame resume came from. Clearly, it has gone downhill, but he's had moments, at the Steelers and the Giants so far showing flashes. Do you think though that he makes the Hall of Fame, or is that something that they look at the Legion of Boom and Marshawn carrying him, I feel like, to hold him back? Is that something that will hold him back to you in your eyes? It's hard to make the Hall of Fame, man.
I'm thinking of other Hall of Famers at his position.
And he has had one Super Bowl where he
I'm
won
trying to see what he has, what he does not have that these other guys have.
MVP.
This he doesn't have an MVP.
Does not have an MVP.
Mm.
And he lost the Super Bowl. Like at the end of that Patriots game, he threw that pick at the goal line.
He
He
did
won one.
because they
He
couldn't run
won the
it with
blowout against
Marshawn.
the Peyton Manning Broncos. That was a good
Yeah,
one.
I'm saying he's won a Super Bowl. He's lost a Super Bowl, so he's been to multiple Super Bowls.
Right.
Yeah.
He's shown that he's got multiple abilities. He's really good on the throw,
Yeah.
really good on the run. I don't know, dude. Honestly, not having an MVP kind of hurts, but then I'm trying to think, does this might be a dumb question. Does Dan Marino have an MVP? Like,
That is a good question. I feel like he might be a guy that didn't get it because there were so many good quarterbacks.
he's a Hall of Famer. I mean,
Um,
so why
How
wouldn't
many Super
Russ?
Bowls did Dan Marino
well,
get though?
Dan Marino was slinging that thing, but so was Russ. Dan Marino
Russ
never had a
was
Super Bowl
thinking,
either.
hey, I ain't
Hmm.
gonna lie, like some 2012, 2013 Russ, that dude was crazy.
That dude was cooking.
Dan Marino was a Hall of Famer in 2005 is when
With
he got
Doug
inducted.
Baldwin.
Yeah.
That boy
Um,
Doug.
let me double check this real quick. Dan Marino did win the MVP in 84, so he has one MVP. So I do feel like you got to win that
I
MVP.
feel like you gotta win the
You
MVP.
got to at
That's my
least
thing.
win the MVP, right?
If you don't have an MVP, then
You're not in it. Because you did
Damn,
have the Legion of Boom carrying you in the early part of
you
your career.
did. That is a
If
big
he
thing
won
that
it
people
this year
say.
on the Giants at this age, I'd be like, I'm in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you?
I would say if he maybe won that Super Bowl against the Patriots, I'd put him in the Hall of Fame. Like two Super Bowls is like pretty big. Like Eli Manning probably gets in because of the two Super Bowls, right? So
You know
Right.
who else might get in?
who?
Tom Brady.
Big Ben.
Big Ben. Big Ben's
You
a
thinking
lock.
Big Ben in
Big
there? I
Ben is
think
a
he's
This wins a
locked
lock.
lot
in.
for the
I
Hall of
think he
Fame.
is.
Big Ben is a lock. Let me see. Big Ben's had what, two Super Bowls. He
Mm-hmm.
never won the MVP, but he was that guy, and he was playing against, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in that conference. So it's hard to win
Yeah,
MVP with those guys are around.
it
The
is hard.
Steelers aren't in the AFC East.
No,
No,
but
they're
like
in the
the
AFC
AFC
North.
though, the
The
conference.
AFC
AFC,
Yeah.
yeah.
in general.
But like Drew Brees was around, all these go to quarterbacks, Eli Manning, Matty
Yeah.
Ice, Matt Stafford. It's hard to win MVP. So yeah, just a fun little debate wanted to have to end the show. Pretty much that's going to be it for this week. I feel like it was not a bad show, but wish Cody was here, man. Missed that man on the pod. Hopefully he gets back here soon. Don't know what was going on with him. But appreciate everybody for listening. Thanks again, Brax, for joining. Come next week. Come every week if you can. And if not, it's all good, brother. But we appreciate the Auburn insight. And good luck to your Tigers this week, man. And
I appreciate it.
let's see y'all boys back together on the pod. This is the Muffed Sports Show. I'm your host, Hayden Haynes. That's Seth Killen and Braxton McKinney. And we're out.
See you,
See you guys.
boys.
Have a good night.